All right, back for the RPG World Builder. Let's just make sure. Oh, I almost forgot to put that there, and let's readjust that into the center a little bit there, and bam, there we go. We're back to the city in the forest, Evain, as we were last week while we were working on it. So I'm going to work on this for like half an hour or so, and then I'm going to do a little bit of work on the surprise world building I want to do, and then we'll play 2 or 3 hours of Fallout. Probably around 12:30 we'll plan to jump into that one, so I'll go to like 2:30, 3:30. Okay, cool. Sounds good. Let's go back to where we were. So we've gone through the building in the tree. We went through the old inn. We didn't go through the old general store. We did edit these down into much smaller than they were originally. That's for sure. With some giant cockroach. Oh, whoops! I was looking at the Pathfinder one a second. Oh me! With the Ghast, with maximum hit points and multi-attack, and the giant and the cockroach swarms. Let's look at the old general store. That's where we're at. Bam. So it's a damaged building. Walls are broken apart. It still stands. So I did do 4 rooms in this one originally. A shop floor. There's a counter, a door, many shelves, decent conditions. Shoppers would need to move inside the building by the doors. The upstairs to move into this room. Majority of products are unusable. I gave them a 5% finding any item in the player's handbook worth 100 gold pieces or less of their choice. But with the broken condition, only 5 items can be found. Rest of the materials are broken beyond repair. One of the walls of the room is partially collapsed, allowing access to the outside if need be. I'm thinking what I'm going to do here is I am going to keep this downstairs a little bit. I'm going to change around the downstairs. And then, because the upstairs was a children's room with just some treasure, masterwork tools for craft carpentry. There's some kind of large creature nest upstairs. I think I'm going to redo the entire top floor. Shop floor. And we're going to call J2. We're going to do this top floor. And I'm going to redo this in a way that I think I can completely copy this over to the Pathfinder too. We're going to do that. And we're going to do this over here. So let's type up a little bit here. So what I'm going to say here is a search of the area reveals 3 random items from the player's handbook worth, let's just say instead 50 gold pieces or less in broken condition and in need of repair. Now, the language of this means it works perfectly for Pathfinder because there's an actual broken condition. And I don't think there's really such a condition in Dungeons and Dragons, but I can actually say it's just in a broken condition and in need of repair. Now, granted, I would also probably say core rulebook instead, but still. Top floor. So we're going to want to get rid of this portion here. We'll get rid of that in a second. Okay. And we'll say rot floor. Top floor. So what we're going to say for top floor is this is the floor where the family lived. It is in bad condition with areas of the roof collapsing and signs of animals. The room where the children slept is in the best condition of all of them. And then we can say a decent set of tools. In this case, it wouldn't be masterwork tools, but let's just quickly copy this new version of this here to put in the Pathfinder version, because we're correcting both of them at the same time. And then instead we're going to change this from carpentry tools. Set of carpentry tools. There we go. So kids had some carpentry tools to practice with, probably. That work in the shop, maybe. Maybe one of them wanted to become a carpenter for whatever reason. And out of the top floor, which is in pretty terrible condition, it's the only thing good. And downstairs, 3 items could be discovered, random ones from the player's handbook, worth 50 gold pieces or less, in a broken condition and in need of repair, in case you want to give your PCs some kind of items you think they need. Might be something that will help them out along the way. It might be a way to do that. Granted, they would have to repair it, but there's things like mending in Pathfinder, and I think there are some repair spells in 5th edition, too, that they can get. Or they could just skillfully take some time and do it. Alright, let's save both of these for our corrections, because we want to make sure not to lose anything. The dining hall. God, the dining hall. This is an interesting one that I did. Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay. It was a meeting hall and celebration hall. It was used for important purposes and dinners daily. The main room is big enough for the majority of the citizens could be seated in the room comfortably. In the days of the city came to the valley, it began to have meals more than once a day here. With waning population caused by violence, dangers, and sickness in this new world, it was getting easier, even though there was literally little food supplies. In the end, the building was shut down when the Fallen burrowed into the basement stores. The battle which ensues caused the collapse of the basement. This is the final straw for the majority of the population, with the loss of life and food that occurred. And now, throughout the starvation, the great exodus from the city began. So, I talked a little bit about the building itself and how that relates to the actual history of the city, which is an interesting one. Adding in a little bit of history is never a problem. So I think that little bit there that I stated, that you as the dungeon master or the game master will recognize and be able to use to interpret what you're going to be doing here. Alright, so I will need, I think, I will need something that I can reference information in, unfortunately. Okay. So, I put there was 8 rooms here. I do not think I need 8 rooms worth of stuff here. We're going to eliminate a bunch of these. Let's go. The Overgrown Hall was the first one. So, I had this reading. As the doors to this building are pushed away, before you lies a massive room. Countless tables and benches fill the room in various state of disrepair. Large vines and plants pop out all around the room under large holes in the ceiling that create a cascade of light that makes the room almost shine. A few trees also seem to have taken root and now push up through the roof into the sky above. The room is an indoor forest abundant with insects and small animals. I kind of state the hall was used as a celebration spot and for meals. So I kind of think I can get rid of this statement here, maybe. Damaged roof allowed plants to grow inside the building, changing much of its interior miniature forest. The area here is considered difficult terrain. And I used a strange Pathfinder creature for this one. I used Tooth Fairies. Thanks, Pathfinder, for having something called a Tooth Fairy that was CR a quarter. So I'm going to look up. Of course, I didn't get this together because I forgot to. Monster by CR for Monster by CR D&D 5th ed. That was bad spelling. Monster by challenge rating. Yes. Alien's blanket on my lap right now. I've had this blanket on my lap because it is a bit chilly around the house. Me house? My house. Oh boy. Yeah, Tooth Fairy. They're CR 1/4. They're diminutive Fae I threw in there. That have a bite. I was gonna have them not, I don't think, have their pliers. They found it abandoned to their annoyance. Before they could leave, they were attacked by a larger creature and have taken refuge in this hall, waiting to escape. Or someone that enters their domain. And I put 12 of them in here. Because sure. Because 12 little diminutive Fae, which can do some little bit of damage and paralyze with a bite, are interesting. And they have a death throes where they explode in sprinkles. I mean, I find it an interesting encounter in the Pathfinder side, but I think I'm going to reduce the number on the Pathfinder side. I think I kind of want to make this a CR 3, which I believe I have to drop it down to like 8 of them. Probably something like that. 8 or 9. I think I can do 9. I think 900 experience counts as a CR 3. They have 5 hit points apiece. They start by trying to steal any light weapons or ammunition they can from the PCs until they're spotted. Then they concentrate on pinching the fingers of fighters and stealing the teeth of spellcasters. Yep. Yep. Can use dirty chip combat maneuver supplies to pinch a opponent's fingers, or steal combat maneuver to steal opponent's tooth. A pinch finger does 1 dexterity damage, a stolen tooth does 1 charisma damage, and 1 point of bleed damage. So, they gang up so they can cause maximum damage. When half the fairies are killed or incapacitated, they run. So this was an interesting battle for Pathfinder. But I don't want to necessarily do something the same in D&D. Like, if we look at a CR 1/4, which is what I was using before, well, we have a lot of strange creatures that we can throw in there, but what would work best? Grimlock? Panther? Goblins? Sprites? I can just make it goddamn sprites. They have short bows. They do 1 piercing damage and they become poisoned. And possibly fall unconscious. Turn invisibility until it attacks or casts a spell, or until its concentration ends. Heart sight. They know emotional sights. They have a long sword that does 1 slashing damage. 2 hit points. Yeah, you know what? Let's make sprites. Evil sprites. So, let's change this until, a gang of evil sprites came to the city some time ago. We are going to change this to 8 sprites. And we're just going to delete this right here. Tactics. The sprites concentrate their short bows on 1 target until they knock them out. They try to stay out of melee range using... They fly. They fly. No, that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to see if they can fly. They can fly. Using their wings to keep out of the reach of the PCs. They focus first on spellcasters, then on big fighter types, and finally the rest. When half of the sprites are killed and activated, remember to retreat with any sprites. If a PC is knocked unconscious, at least one sprite will move in to steal small objects from them. Hey, and then it works perfectly. So they'll try to concentrate fire on spellcasters and stuff. Then one will sneak in, try to grab stuff, while the rest of them continue to deal with other people. So they might try to, like, you know, knock out the big fighters first. And they're all about taking stuff from them. Maybe then killing them later on. Evil sprites. So it works much the same. It's a lot less creepy than our friends, the Tooth Fairies, but still. Let's take a look at the rest of the building, because I've got a lot of rooms in here, and I have no more encounters. We could get rid of this hallway completely. Screw hallway. That's important. A kitchen. A large kitchen where the food was prepared. I can just say, I could just say in the back near the kitchen is an ever-burning torch. Watch this. I just got rid of the kitchen. Okay. In the back of the room by the kitchen area is there's an ever-burning torch in 5th edition. I can't remember. Shoot. Ever-burning torch. There isn't. Jeez. So why don't we just do this? We'll copy this. And we're going to cut it then over here, because I don't think there's anything like that in 5th edition. So that basically will just replace kitchen and hallway, is that thing I just did, in the Pathfinder version. Guess what? I just eliminated a bunch of rooms. Okay, 2 is office area. Let's take a look at the office area. Oh, whoops. Let me just make some corrections still in the Pathfinder version, of course, since we're correcting both of them, cutting out some material. Alright, office area. It's a small room, once used to master active kitchen schedule, handle the events, the hall. Books and papers are now more than dust. Desks, if you search the desk, you find some paperwork in good condition. Even if they use magic, it is magic to read it. The papers are like wedding celebrations and menus of the night's dinner. What is really good is for helping to learn the Callus language. There are sources that are being used for this, and this does not matter how many PCs bring to him. He needs at least one source to start learning the language in the next adventure. Allows him to understand Savage Callus. Let's just redo this little development, because I did change the wording a little bit over here. But I like the idea of, you know, this little development here, allowing the court wizard to learn some of the language of the race that lives here. That's trying to murder all the players. Special storeroom. Oh, wow. Yes. The rooms use preference to humanoid meals that were used in special occasions. Sculpture remains appear to be 2 halflings are what remains here. The rest of the meat hooks, still resting on the meat hooks they were impaled. The rest of the area appears to be for butchering. It's relatively clean, reminding PCs reminds the PCs of the back of the butcher's shop, of a butcher's shop. A fact that should disturb them. The tools are fairly well kept, but age has put a layer of rust. Close inspection of body reveal cut marks, the bone of the throats. Small drain under the meat hooks. Lets blood through into them. Dry storage is useless. I like the special cook room, though, because that's creepy. And it was meant to be creepy. This race is meant to be not a good race. So they're supposed to, like, sort of see them and be like, we don't like you. But, dry storage. Yes, I got rid of that. I changed this to a 3. I changed this to a 3 on here. Done. Cool. We've gotten down to 5 rooms out of 8. We're already improving things. We didn't. Why do we need to mention the hallway? Really? I mentioned the hallway. So we have 2 more. Okay, the root cellar I might leave. The cold storage. Let's get rid of the cold storage. Let's just, you know what? I had some storage rooms. So why don't we call this K4? Storage rooms. And we'll just say, these rooms were used for various, for the storage of food materials, each one keeping different types of food. All the food in them has long since decayed to nothing. Bam! Fixed it. Better. Much, much better. Much, much better. We'll go over and change that over here on Pathfinder. It's simple. A simple statement. Simple in this case being better. Okay, 4. 5. Whoops. 4. Storage rooms. Copy. Look at that. We did it reverse. Bam! Look at that. Now, we did get down to only 5 rooms. So there is still a bunch of rooms in here. Yes, the hallway could be important, but I had just the blank hallway of nothing in there. So, True Worm, you are correct. Hallway could have been important. But the blank hallway that I had existing there, I did not need it described. So we moved from 8 rooms to 5. We have a room where we have an encounter with in D&D sprites in Pathfinder Tooth Fairies. We have an office area with where you can find some sealed paperwork and a desk that's been maintained that can help your wizard out. A special storeroom where it shows off the fact that these people ate humanoids on special occasions. Some storage rooms, and then a root cellar which shows off a battle that occurred. All right. Let's do the Tanners. Wow, the cathedral I did 18 rooms in. The cathedral is going to be a fun one to do. I'm going to finish at least the Tanners. I might dive into the cathedral today. Fun with the Tanners. Oh, Tanner boy. Let's move this a little bit. I want to make sure I keep seeing chat very nicely. So the Tanners. It's a small building in good shape. Its stench keeps the animals away. Even after this long period of time, the chemical spells of being a Tanner's remains. And the race that was here didn't have that as much of a problem with that smell. And so the Tanner is in towards the center of town. I basically made it because they didn't have the same problem that a lot of us have for tanneries and the smell that they have. Only 3 rooms. Let's see if there's a reason to get rid of any of these rooms. Okay. A work floor. Just describes it as remains of countless leathers and animal parts in this room. Only a few in decent conditions. Most have compaged away. Cobwebs and dust cover much from a thick layer. Personal room in the back where the Tanner lived. Where there's a secret door with the reception DC perception 25. The basement was the Tanner's room. And there's a small room where the Tanner provides special leathers. Leathers made of humanoids. Macabre room has coats and clothing made from people. Closet's very creepy. It seems to be, but still seems vaguely normal in a certain pizza without city. And it was a set of +1 leather armor made of questionable leather. Yeah, it's questionable leather. I like how I described it that way. It's made of people. There's leather armor made of people. So I guess in Dungeons & Dragons it would just be magic leather armor. Magic leather armor made of questionable leather. I'm just going to keep that the same because I like that entire statement. The Tanners is fun, and it was one of the magic items I was planning on giving people. Magic leather. Which I think magic armor is pretty simple. In 5th. Why don't we search for it? Magic armor. Roll 20 compendium. Magic armor. Search. Anything? You being nice to me? Roll 20. Not being nice to me. You're not. Oh. Oh, I know what I can do. Oh. Let's search Google. Sorry. Magic Armor Weapons 5th edition SRD. Is there just like a general magic armor? Oh yeah, it's just like armor +1. Magic leather armor +1. Just change the format a little bit, and it's basically the same thing as it was before. So, questionable leather. Cool. That was an easy one to do. Let's talk about the cathedral, because this will be a interesting one. Because then there's the blacksmith, strange cave, and then the castle itself. Which the castle is an abomination of a place that I made. The amount of rooms I put into that castle when I first did this is insane, and I need to cut down on like 50% of them at least. So let's see what we can do though for the overgrown cathedral with its 18 rooms. Ooh. So it's the second largest building in the city. The questionable leather was one of my better ideas. Look, it's a society that eats people, so of course they used some of the people to make leather armor. They were of a race of humanoids that decided that they were superior to everyone else, and the best way to show that was to eat everyone else. Second largest city in the building in the city next to the castle. It's a cathedral to Kelnicord, the god of the Chaldites. The forest has begun to consume the building, much of it still intact. In the old days, both Keldrakor and Chandrazor were given worship here. The earth was the most important. Though the earth was the most important, both the sun and earth were given thanks. After they came to this world, they began only to worship their earth god, their savior. So as time went on, the worship became more and more fervent. In the dark times, their lord seemed to give them hope. The clergy read what was happening, and it was they who suggested leaving the city. They said that what was happening was punishment for holding on to the past and not embracing the future. When they left the few artifacts they took with them, they sealed up the cathedral in their minds for all times. Since then, it has remained locked and unused. So that's an interesting little backstory of their... it gives a little bit more information about the idealisms, that their own religion was becoming more and more cultish and drove them a little bit. So then we have this horrible incident in the Great Hall where they would eat, and a lot of people died, and so their religious figures have been like pushing them forward, and now it's an excuse for them to sort of push themselves off. So the nave, the doors to this building are locked. The key can be found, as mentioned earlier, or the lock can be picked with the table device of 25. What's it in Thieves Tools DC 25? With pickpocket, it's DC 20. Sure, make it a little easier because that's the nature of D&D. So it's DC 20. I'm just mentioning it there. As you move in the room before you, the light from the outside world cascades down, shining upon the area before you. The entire block wall of the building has collapsed, letting the forest in here. Small trees and bushes fill the center of the room. The vines climbing plants cling to most of the walls that poke holes into the remaining ceiling. Sounds cool. Remaining ceiling. Despite all this place appears to be in good shape. The reins of pews are covered by roots and small plants, and a massive tree dominates the far side of the room in the center of the vegetation. Small birds and insects and reptiles scurry about this place, giving an almost magical feel. Still, the longer you sit, the more you feel at unease, as if something unnatural is here that you can't see. A few doors and walkways around, and close respect to the walls reveals the remains of murals, as the windows also had stained glass, now broken and shattered. If anything of value was in this room, it's now deep below the plant life dominates this room. What decorations remain both symbolize earth and rock. The ceiling is 40 feet up. I have a bell tower. One of the bell towers remains relatively intact at the top of the tower. The bell is partially fallen. Tower. It weighs about... I don't need to mention the bell tower. Do I need to mention the bell tower? That it exists there? I could just say, that, the access to the, I could just combine that in the first room. I have to figure out how I'm going to combine it in the first room with that total description. Just add something else there. So really we can get this, the bell partially collapsed, and the bell fills is left of it stuck. Okay, I moved the bell tower because I didn't really need to talk about the bell tower, but I wanted to mention it because there's a bell tower. You know, Pit of Redemption. This small was a deep prick. The pit goes down 50 foot, ending in a flat bottom. It was used to punish those of the faith that failed the tenants. They were thrown down the clutches to delve with the earth. Should they return, meant to continue this work. Should they die or fail to climb out, given punishment. The walls of this pit are sheer and are rough to be climbed. The bottom pit is littered with the remains of those who died from falling. Maybe I should just, like, say, like, stairs up, I don't need to say anything. The Pit of Redemption I can combine here, too. to the one side of the main hall is a stone pit with sheer sides and nearly impossible to climb, and the litter and a litter of bones at the bottom. There we go. So basically I combined all these things together. We'll do these lines together. So let's go over to cathedral. Ba-boom! We can just keep the treasure the same. Oh wait, we got rid of the treasure. And the stairs up. Boom! So we effectively just got rid of 3 rooms out of this place by combining it into one big room with some extra details. Just a few extra details, and I don't need extra rooms marked off. I can just say, there's a horrible death pit over to the side. And I can make it was used as a test by those of the faith to see if they could climb out. And that just summarizes it. It's used as a test for those of faith to see if they could climb out. So it was a pit of death. There's a broken bell tower and everything else that I talked about. The lectern. This room is used to review books and scrolls. Most important books are taken by clergy. It remains dusty. Lectern is unimportant. God, why did I talk about lectern? I could actually just change this to the back rooms. A search of the rooms reveals a few supplies with 2 potions of healing. So the back rooms. These were rooms used in various religious activities in the back of the cathedral. Potions of... Oh god. My memory's terrible. You know that? I have to say, sometimes my memory is so bad. Potions and oils. I want potions of oils. There's a 5 ESRD. That's kind of cool. Potion of healing. Oh, greater potion of healing. So it's potion of healing and greater potion of healing. 2 potions of healing. And can be found to start and a scroll of cure wounds. Sure. Yes. So, once again, we got rid of rooms. We got rid of lectern and storage, and we turned that into the back rooms. Treasure, we kept it pretty much the same. It's some healing items. 2 potions of healing and a small chest in the back, and a scroll of cure wounds. A large stone could be placed on top of the stairs. Stairs down are also unimportant. This is R2, the back rooms. So R2, back rooms. Wow. We've certainly changed that there. Look at that. We've changed it to the back rooms. Now we have the Well of Blessing. A large basin that was once filled with holy water. I think this is... If I recall my map, this is also attached to that main room. To the other side... to one side of the main room is a basin that was once filled with holy water, now empty. I mean, it's exactly that. I don't have to really, like, change a lot. Copy. Bell tower is partially bam 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 bam. The treasure's the same. Okay. Bell tower, basin with holy water. The other thing. The back rooms of treasure. The stairs down. The wells of blessing are no longer here. So we are on to. Well, the blessing goes away. So now I've reduced 8 rooms to 2. And they make sense still. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I love it when you have a lot of extra markings. The scarcity. This room used to be to stare the robes of the clergy and change into them when they need to be cursed. The robes have fallen apart and the furniture in the room is cursed. There's a large centipede in the room. Ooh. I think there's a CR 1/2 centipede in 5th edition. Or is it quarter in 5th edition? Giant centipede. It is in CR 1/4 in Pathfinder. I mean in D&D. Large centipede moved in through one of the back windows. It's been using Sarius and Nass. 1/4. So CR 1/4. Let's get rid of this stuff because it's not as important in this one. We'll keep that the same. Have people just fight a giant centipede. For, I'm not going to call it, like, Shushingijuals. Just because, I had it there anyway. As part of whatever storyline of encounters. So at least fight something, I guess. In here, I think is what I did it. Ooh, God, that's going to be that. Shrine to the Sun. Alright. Within this small chamber is a secondary shrine. Shrine was a Shandra's Roar. The shrine is small, much better shaped than much of the building. It is obvious the shrine here is some deity of light and sun. Its symbolism is fire and shining light. Nothing about of real value, but dual symbolism, earth and the sun, is starkly shown here. The shrine does seem like it's seen better days, not just from times. Disrepair when the city was abandoned. So, I want to keep this one with our friend the giant centipede. We'll keep the shrine at 4. So, that's a good one. Let's see here. Upper walkway. It's just the walkway that's sort of collapsing. I don't have to talk about it. Well, bam. Stairs down. Stairs up. Wow. Yeah. His wand of cure wounds. There we go. Used by the acolytes to treat the bed in room's tissue shape and unfurnished. The room is in fair condition. Be fine place PCs rest if we need to. Chamber hard to keep security to the room. The room is wrecked, showing signs of some sort of animal used it to nest. Whatever is no longer lives here. Nothing values room. Can be found with a not DC 27. That's pretty difficult, and not even difficult in Pathfinder. Let's make it DC 20. Perception check. Yeah. Yeah. The relic chamber once contained artifacts, relics, magic items used by the faith. They were taken away. Of course, the lone wand was left behind. So we're gonna change the head priest chamber. So we're gonna keep these rooms here. I like the idea of the acolytes chambers because it's a room to rest in. And the secret room. All of this can be grabbed like that. What were we doing? This was R2 was the back rooms. R3 was the sextity. R4 was that. And it's a 1 R5. Oh, R4. R5, R6, R7. Cool. 6. Oh no, we got rid of that one. Stairs down, got rid of. 6. 7. So we went from 18 to maybe 9 chambers if we finish this off. That's actually not bad. We cut down by half. Let's look at overgrown mounds. Okay, roots break through the room of this roof for center floor. It was originally a burial chamber. The mounds of stone placed around the bones of sacred fallen interred in these piles. Many of the piles now have roots growing into them. Back walls appears to have something burst through. But whatever tunneled it crate collapsed behind it. Few sculpture remains appeared not to have been interred members' libraries. These are clergy that died at their posts. Fallen crawler inhabits room. Long ago, burst in the room. Creature killed a number of athletes before it was crippled and left for dead. The base was then abandoned. The creature lived. Unfortunate injuries prevent it from burrowing out, and even when its health returned, it has used its race's ability to hibernate for years on end. Only we can prey enter the room. It rises and hunts. It's a customized monster that I made, but I'm going to have to remake for 5th edition, so I'm going to leave it the same right now and assume I can figure out how to do it in 5th edition, which will be pleasant. Trying to custom monster in 5th edition. We don't have to talk about the tunnel. The tunnel's collapsed. There's nothing in there. Screw that. Why am I talking about that? That doesn't exist anymore. Let's just do that. Copy that. Put it over to Pathfinder. The new 8 rooms we've got. Oh, stairs up are gone. 8. And we're getting rid of that. Wow. That's a heck of an edit. I'm actually really happy about this edit that we've done for the cathedral. We put things together and we've done it in such a way that's actually really interesting.